you doing? Welcome back to the other side. We are so happy to have you. This is where we talk about trials, triumph, and everything in between because that's where we believe the magic lies in the in between. Today I have a special guest. She is Brandy Rametta. She is Heart and Soul Yoga as well as the local Wellness Foundation. And I just have her here today. She is doing amazing things in the community for others. And I just want to chat with her and see if you have a desire in your heart. Maybe you can do something like that too. So, welcome, Brandy.
Thank you. So good to be here with
Yeah,
you,
thanks
my
for coming.
fellow mental health advocate.
Yes,
I love being here
girl.
with you. I
Ah,
love what
thank
you're
you.
doing.
Thank you. You know, we try, right? We do what we can
We
and
try. We just keep trying.
we just keep trying. It could feel lonely, it could feel discouraging. And,
Mhm.
sometimes we even wonder why we're doing it ourselves, right? But
Oh, yeah.
when we talk to people and we see the people that we've helped or maybe made a little impact, it just lights that fire a little more and then even makes us want to do more.
It sure does. I feel like that. I go through all those same things
Yeah.
too. It's good to know that I'm not alone.
Yeah. And you just had Take Action LA. That was a huge event.
Yes.
And it was the second year in a row, which was really exciting.
Yes. So honored to be able to bring that not only just like for LA County Mental Health Department and California,
Yeah.
but right there in Whittier,
I
my
know.
my hometown. So that's such a pleasure. It's an honor to do that for year 2. Let's cross our fingers. Maybe we
Yes.
can do it year 3. We'll see.
Yeah,
But
I'm
it's
sure
a
it'll happen.
very big undertaking.
I
I'm
know.
like for mental health, I'm like wiped out at the end of it, but it's so worth every ounce of energy and my heart, no pun intended, but my heart and soul that goes into it. So
Yeah.
so worth it.
I know it's kind of cool. Huh? Is that how you got your name? How did you get the name for your foundation?
Heart and Soul. Well, Heart and Soul is the business. The local wellness foundation is the nonprofit, but
Hmm.
Heart and Soul was built and created in oh my gosh, it was so long ago before we were actually like a real thriving like business,
Yes.
and it was because it was linked to mental health and emotional well being, and that's. I kept playing with all of these different names and
Hmm.
sending different name options
Yeah.
to friends and family, and then it just landed one day. I think I was just kind of researching something, reading something, and something just spoke to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when you just know
You know.
after just playing with stuff for like, I would say like 2 or 3 weeks. And then
Oh,
it
yeah.
just came to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
heart and soul. That's what it is because it really is about the heart and soul of yourself.
Yes.
And what it ended up being was the evolution of a whole community. And
Yeah.
focused on mental health and emotional, not really, I want to say resilience. That's a word that comes to mind, but it's emotional healing.
Yes.
It's emotional
Well
resilience.
being.
It's well being. It's
Yeah.
healing and community. It's so many different, very deep ideas and pathways. So,
Well, I think, healing, you kind of have to heal with a community.
yeah.
I mean, you can heal so much alone, but
Hmm.
you really need that community.
I
So
think
let's
so.
let's talk about where you grew up because I do like to start where somebody grew
Sure.
up and then what got you into yoga in the first place.
Sure. I was born and raised in Whittier,
Okay.
and I was, in Whittier, went to all my schools in Whittier, Whittier High School. All of my family graduated Whittier High School,
Oh
most of,
yeah.
most of them, including my parents and my sisters, and the youngest of 3 girls. And yeah, love all my schools, all of my childhood. I had a really great childhood and upbringing in
Beautiful.
in Whittier,
Yeah.
and it wasn't until years later, like a lot of people, where you start to like wake up from different things that have occurred and happened
Hmm.
in your life, relationships that have happened, family connections, and you start to notice and build your awareness, right,
Yes.
of just things. I'm sure you know exactly what
Oh
I'm
yeah.
talking about. And there's a lot of people, once I started talking about certain things that I had gone through, experienced, and just observed in my own
Hmm.
family, specifically with a lot of the women in my family,
Mm.
I started to recognize it as no, this person isn't just crazy, right? Because
Mm.
we chalk it up to our
Yeah.
family members, like a crazy aunt or a crazy grandmother, but it's really generational trauma.
Hmm.
And culturally, we're not allowed to talk about that,
Right.
right?
Well,
Like,
they didn't. It was the
right.
skeletons in the closet they talk about, right?
Yeah. And when you do talk about that, when it does come out, what derives from that is shame,
Yeah. Yes,
sadness,
it's taboo.
separation. Yes,
Hmm.
exactly. It's separation of like, oh, they're talking about it. Well, now we don't want anything to do with that person,
Yeah.
that family, that thing. It's like
Hmm.
out there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden
And
it
you're the
starts to,
one embarrassing everybody.
right, it
Hmm.
becomes very shameful. And so I, started to build my awareness to just things that were happening in my family for years and years and started to make so much sense.
Yeah.
Connecting the dots of like my healing journey back to the people in my family that I had been very observant of
Hmm.
and realizing this has a name.
Yes.
There's a language to explain what is going on here. And
And but that's crazy, right? A lot of people don't know the language, so they don't even know there's a name
exactly.
until someone like you comes along and is able to break the generational curse by identifying the
Yes.
issues
Right, exactly. And it is in
and
identifying
being
that.
brave enough to do the
E
work.
exactly, and I think, going back to your question on, like, how I started with all of this, well, my very first yoga class I ever took was in 2004. It was
Hmm.
Bikram yoga. Do you know what Bikram yoga is?
No, no.
It's hot yoga, so it's like the
Okay.
original hot yoga because a lot of people call it hot yoga, and
Yes, I know
it
it is hot yoga.
exactly,
Hmm.
so,
And I've done it once, but I don't like to sweat that much.
oh, then you
Yeah, that's
definitely
why I
don't
don't
know
work out.
because you're gonna leave there
I know.
soaking
I
wet.
did, and it
And
was
it's
like,
yeah, it's an
I'm all.
hour and
Why
a
do
half.
people like this?
So the original hot yoga is called Bikram yoga, and so it's an hour and a half long class, and it's a series of poses. And the first time that I took it, it was like I'm awake. Like my
Mm,
body, my spirit. I didn't know what to say about it. I didn't know
yeah.
what to think. All I knew is that something was activated in my emotions,
Mm,
in my energy
mm.
system, in my physical body. And I'm like, what the F was that?
Like
Like,
you got
what?
all this stuff unstuck.
Yeah, it was so crazy.
Mm,
And I'm like, I don't know what that was, but I'm going to come back tomorrow and I'm going to try to do this again. So
okay.
I did. I went back and then they had
So
the,
did you feel a release, or you just knew it was something different? Like what were you actually feeling?
that is a very difficult question.
Because
I can't put my finger on it. I
you
started to
just know you
feel,
needed to feel it again.
I knew I needed to feel it. I knew that there was something that was being activated, something I had never felt before. It
It's
was like an
spiritual.
awakening.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So it was more spiritual, like internal, you think?
Yes, way internal. It's very very deep. And the visual that I get when I talk about this is sort of like when you're opening a door and you see the crack of the door, you
Yeah.
see a little light coming
Oh,
out,
yeah. You want to
okay?
know what's in there.
And you're like, "Should I open up?" Like, of course you want to open up the door.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, "I got to come back tomorrow. I got to see what's beyond this door cuz I
Yeah.
see a little light, a little crack right
Oh,
there in
that's a
the
good
doorway."
analogy.
Yeah, and I did the 30 days. I have the 30 days like unlimited for X amount of dollars. I don't know back in the day what it was. But, I did the unlimited 30 days, and I went every day for 30 days. And, in one of the
So you
sessions,
really committed.
I really committed into that first awakening. Like, it was like an invitation. It was like someone just grabbed me by the hand and, like,
Yeah.
pulled me in.
Yeah.
And in one of those sessions, I remember totally having, like, an emotional release where I was like, "What is this? Like, what is
Mm,
going on?" And I tried to tap into that so many different times.
yeah.
But then I started getting more focused on the physical part, like, oh, I'm really good at this. When you're good at something, it starts to get really fun. And so it was just fun.
Yeah.
I obviously started tapping into some type of spiritual awakening. I'm like, okay, great, this is great. But every time I would go a little deeper
Mm-hmm.
into that like inner work,
Mm-hmm.
something would happen and I would like end up kind of pulling back.
You were scared.
I was scared. I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready.
Isn't that interesting? Because
So
it does happen, and
yeah.
you don't even know what's happening really, but
And
you
I did
just
it.
know you're not really ready for what's to come, and
Yeah,
yeah, because you don't know how big that crack is going to be when it's finally
exactly.
opened.
You don't know
You don't
what
know
you're
if it's
going to
going to be
be.
an enclave or a cliff or
Yeah,
yeah,
you don't know what you're going to be faced with. And the
yeah.
truth of the matter, what I've learned over the years is when you are faced with that thing that
Hmm.
you are avoiding, there's no turning back.
Right.
It's like you're faced with your shadows, you're
Hmm.
faced with your demons, you're
Hmm.
faced with your truths, your mistakes,
Your families.
your family's
Yeah.
mistake. And in my case, it started to be all those things, which were
Hmm.
a very big reflection of the relationship I had with myself, or I should say the lack of
Mm.
connection to myself, lack of self love, lack of Oh my gosh,
You
so
became a
many.
survivor.
Oh, so it
Yeah.
of so many different things. I was in a relationship at the time that was super unhealthy for me, but I was, like a lot of
Yeah.
young people,
Oh,
just don't
yeah.
know how to make sense of it. I didn't know how to honor myself in it.
Well, and
And
if you don't have like a really healthy relationship to mirror, you
exactly.
really don't know what a healthy
Well, and I
relationship
thought that I
is.
did. I thought that I did, but obviously, my parents, yeah, they made a lot of mistakes,
But I
but
mean, even if you do, you girls end up in a relationship that isn't healthy for them as well, you know?
yeah, we do, don't we?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
just, because we're
Always seeking
kids.
love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're kind of, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, we're always seeking love and like what is that song on all the wrong places? I don't know what that
Yeah,
song is, but
searching for love in all the
yes.
wrong place.
It's so true,
I think
right?
of Buckwheat singing it.
Oh my
Looking
gosh.
for love in all the
Oh
wrong places.
my God, that's so hilarious. I love that song, but I mean there's some thank God that they wrote that because I do think about that the lyrics
Yeah,
of that song
me
often,
too. That's
right?
the funniest part.
It's so
Yeah.
poetic and it just
Yes.
it's so you can relate
Yeah.
to that forever art,
Mm-hmm.
and those lyrics and it is so true. And instead of looking for love in all the wrong places, that yoga practice and my connection to the deep inner work, it was leading me back to
Loving yourself.
myself. But
Yeah.
guess what? It took me like 20 years like to find myself
Well,
on that mat.
yeah, because like you said, first you don't know what's going on, and then you have to open yourself up to allowing it to happen, and then you have to start, going through all the files, everything that you're getting, all those downloads, and
Exactly. Like what are you going to now what are you going
yeah,
to do with
yeah. Do
this?
I file it in this cabinet now? Do I dress it? Do I file it away and let it go? There's a lot of stuff that,
So many things that come
yeah.
up, and I think that is where the real blossoming, the blooming, the sprouting starts because
Hmm.
that's what led me to realizing the awareness and the connection to the history, the
And
trauma.
that's where most people stop.
Mm,
And
yeah,
and it right? Don't you
yeah,
feel like that's where most people stop because they do get scared.
it is
And they don't
scary.
know what to do with all the information. And they don't want to bring up old shit like they say. Why I got to bring up, that old saying. Why I got to bring up old, but
Hmm.
sometimes we have to bring it up in order to face it,
Right.
to heal it, to move on from it.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend like being that, you were in that space to really decide like I need to crack open this door. I need to open this door. I need to walk in and I need to have dinner
Yeah.
with my demons or whatever, however you want to call it.
Yeah. It is to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stop. Just keep going.
Feel the
And
feelings.
feel it to heal it, right? And I think a big part of the realization and awareness that was really coming into fruition for me was I keep going back to that to the generational trauma
Mm-hmm.
and that generational trauma that had affected me and many people in my family. And so when you realize that, it's almost like, well, I can't say that because then they're going to think I'm trying to fight with them. They're going to think I'm blaming them.
Mm.
They're going to think all the things,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to like me anymore. They're going to, think that I'm trying to demonize them. But in reality, what I've also come to is, and it's taken me some time to get
Mm-hmm.
here, is um, my great grandmother did her very best.
Yes.
Her daughter, which was my grandmother, she did her
Yes.
best. My mom, she did her best. Was my mom's best better than her mom? It was.
Mm.
Was her best better than her grandmother? It was. And guess what? My
You're better.
best is better than my mom's best.
Yeah.
And it just keeps getting better. And now that I have broken open this egg, like
Mm-hmm.
it's like an egg, then it's
Yeah.
just cracked. Like the yolk, everything's just
Yeah.
all over the
Spilled
place.
out.
I mean, now we can see. We can see
Yeah.
what's inside. We can clean it up. We can scramble it up.
I was
We
thinking
could
the
share
same.
it after. We could do whatever we want
Yeah.
because it's out in the
Yeah.
open and
Yeah.
we can finally understand because now we can see.
And I think that's what most people need to realize is that when we crack it open, the healing's for us. It's not for us to go heal other people, right? We can maybe share what we're learning about ourselves and what we're learning, but and most people think that they do maybe need to go heal them or judge them or but we just need to realize like you just said, they did their best. They only knew what they knew. Now it's up to us to continue this journey for our children and for the future, and hope that maybe they see the change in us, right?
Right.
And become better in their older years if they haven't already.
Right.
Because there's a lot of times these, grandparents, hello me, I raised my son totally different than I am with my grandson, and how
Right.
I am as a mother today to my own son. So
Mhm.
we live and learn, but
We sure
the
do.
best part is the learning and realizing we're not going to change the past. We're not going to fix these people,
Right.
but to just,
Oh, that's the very hard part. It's
yeah,
really hard.
yeah, that's the hardest part,
Hmm.
is learning that
It's a painful part.
yes, that we can't change it. And if we
Right.
address it, not to expect the response we're hoping for or looking for.
Ooh, how many times have you been there? Because I've been there so many times.
Yes.
Why can't you see this? How come you don't want this for yourself? Why don't you want this for me? How come you can't start? Look at all the things that look at all the ways that I'm healing, and look at the happiness and the truth I'm tapping into. Come with me.
Yeah.
Come with me,
It's
or
too
go back to your, it's
uncomfortable.
so uncomfortable. And I think anyone that starts with or without yoga, anyone who starts a deeper spiritual
Mhm.
journey within themselves comes to face that. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you've paid attention to the people or to yourself in this, because I was there too.
Yeah.
When I started on this journey, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Well,
Oh
first of
God, I
all,
love it.
2004, I'm like, my very punk rock best friend Heather, who's still my bestie, she's like, I don't do yoga. I don't like all those fucking yoga people. I fucking hate them. I'm not going. Heather's gonna watch this and she's gonna crack up because she knows it's the truth. Well, Heather ended up being superstar
Yeah,
Miss
she's a
Yoga.
whole yogi.
Yeah,
I've seen her. She's
she's
amazing.
amazing. She's so cool. She's such a beautiful person.
You know what though? I honestly think like these spaces need more people like that, right? That did feel
Mhm.
that way in the beginning, because now they can be that instructor to her kind of people
Yeah,
that don't want the woohoo and
right.
and
And she has
just
tapped into that. She tapped into her story, which has a lot to do with abuse and addiction
mm,
and recovery. Like that's
yeah.
her thing. She wants to tap into helping the homeless population and
Oh yeah.
people in recovery. Like she really tapped into a big part of her healing journey that probably would have never happened
Yeah.
if it wasn't for yoga. You're welcome, Heather. Um, and I'm so glad. But that's what happened when I invited Heather, was like, oh my gosh, all the people that you love the most, you're like, come with me to this.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing as any spiritual journey, starting
Hmm.
church, starting yoga,
Yeah.
starting anything like that. And that's what happened with me day one.
Hmm.
And then when I kind of fell off my yoga grid for a little bit because life just was lifing,
Hmm.
and I got back into it. That's when it hit me the second time, which is like 10 years later, maybe even longer than that. And I'm like, okay, this is now I'm ready for it in a whole
Mm,
different way.
yeah.
And so when I started that healing journey again through my yoga practice the second time around, that's when I started to learn the language. That's when I started to align words and wisdom and just more
Yeah.
experience and probably emotional maturity. And I'm like, Mom, sisters, best friend,
Yeah. Yeah.
a husband, like, all these people, what are you doing? You have to come with me. And it's like, that's not my
Yeah.
job. It's not my job to like try to guilt people into their healing journeys, or
Yeah.
try to twist their arm into it. What they see happening within me
Hmm.
and their observations, whenever they awake to paying attention to that,
Yes.
and when and if it ever speaks or aligns with them, which could be immediately, it could be later on, and
Hmm.
it could be never.
Yeah.
I have to be willing to accept that with
Yep.
the people that I love.
Yeah.
And just like, you know, little a beautiful flower with the wilted
Hmm.
petals, things will fall off and then they'll rebloom again.
Yes.
It's the same thing with
Yes.
people in our lives. And that was a very hard realization for
Yeah.
me as I started to kind of grow and evolve and change and continue to,
Yes.
right?
And yeah, all the time. We're always changing.
Yeah.
And it's really hard, especially like me, right? Dealing with an addict, and I still use his name, and everybody was like, "Why don't you change your name?" And
Mm.
part of my healing journey was like, oh, I love him so much for everything he taught me and everything we did together, the life we lived together, the life I'm able to live now because of him, even the trial I had in him. So, and honestly, I totally believe he was meant to be in my life. I believe 110% he was my soulmate. I believe we had a past life together and we'll have a future together. I truly believe that
Wow.
in my gut.
That's
And
powerful.
so it's kind of like, I keep the name as an homage. Like, he was a good man. He was just really damaged.
Mm.
And I love him for who he was, and I feel sorry for him for what he didn't get,
Hmm.
when that he
And that was
should
his,
have.
and that was his choice.
And that was,
He
yeah.
made his choice, and
Yes,
you made
because
yours.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He
And
could
those
have.
are the painful things.
Those are the
Those,
painful things. And
those are the
it
painful
hurts me,
things.
and yeah, who wants to see anybody they love suffer
Oh,
when you know that
it's
there's a better way to live?
yeah, and you could see it, right? It's
Mhm.
like I'm looking right at you. Do this. Don't do that. Turn
Yeah.
the other way. Make a
Yes.
U-turn. Those are very painful
But then I
things.
think of and then I think of God. I mean, all the people when I was younger, when you were younger, I'm sure every couple people told you to turn back, and you probably shouldn't do that. And but it's
Oh,
like, oh, I know everything, right? I'm 18.
oh,
I'm an adult now, or whatever.
oh. When I look back at my younger self, I'm like, oh my God, I kind of cringe. But I have made amends
Yes.
and brought her and invited all the
Yes.
versions of Brandy, the little Brandies, the
Yes.
annoying Brandies, the toxic Brandies, the
Yes.
very drunk Brandies, like
Mhm.
all the versions
Oh,
of
we had a lot
yeah.
of fun drunk Anitas.
Yeah. Maybe she's playing partying with drunk Brandy. All of the different versions. So instead of like being embarrassed, instead of being ashamed or cringing at the past and all the things, the
Yeah.
shamefulness of generational trauma, mistakes that I've made, I'm just like, I own all of it.
Yes.
I love me through all the versions. And just like you said, through your pain and your struggle and your relationship
Mhm.
with that person, it is the same thing that we go through with ourselves,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
so
It's your
those,
shadow, right? You learn to
yes.
dance together.
And so, but what you said right now was really powerful. And it was, you said it was meant to be.
Mhm.
You said that
Yes.
for certain in
Yes.
your gut,
Yep.
in your heart,
Mhm.
that it was meant to be. And it is.
Yeah.
I don't believe that anything is a mistake.
Oh no.
No,
It's
nothing.
crazy. It
No
was even
person, place, or thing.
no, even this morning I'm sitting there and I didn't have my radio on. I said I'm just going to take this time and be with God and just kind of stay quiet. And I get a text from a girlfriend like, "How are things going with you?" And she's out of the state. And I was like, "Oh my God. I'm meeting with her son on Wednesday and we're going to talk about this." And now she's asking, and then all these things came to my head. And then she said, "We should talk." I'm on, "Do you have time right now?" She's like, "I have a few minutes." I'm like, so I called her and dumped, and I'm like, "I'm sorry. I know I dumped on you." I said, "But I was sitting with God and he just gave all of this to me right now." I said, "You sit with it, think about it, let me know what you think, and, we'll talk again." I said, but yeah, no coincidence. Out of
Yeah.
the blue, she messages me right there when all these downloads just,
Mm.
and so we'll see what happens. But
Yeah. That reminds me of the second time that my yoga came in back into my life, and I'm like, this is supposed to happen, and this feels different than the first time. It's like the same,
yeah,
but
yeah, your
different.
soul tells you, like, you feel it in your
You
gut.
feel it in your gut, and I'm like, well, I'm not ready for this. Like and no, it's like, nope, you are ready. It's like start where you are.
Ooh, you know what? She told me something like that this morning. She
What was
said,
that?
"It just came to me. You have everything you need."
Yes.
That's what she told me. You have everything you need.
Yeah. That's
And I
very
was like, "Oh
powerful.
my
I
God.
end a lot of my yoga sessions like that.
You have
Remember, you have
everything."
everything you need is inside
Yeah.
of you. Quiet down and listen.
Yes.
Because
Quite.
when we are so full of chaos, which, reminds me of all, like we're talking about the past versions of
Mm-hmm.
ourselves, it is just filled with so much chaos. And
Yes.
sometimes chaos, because we build enough chaos on our own, in our
Mm-hmm.
own mind. What is it?
Every day.
Yeah. So many, thousands
Well,
of thoughts.
they say what, 70%, 80% of our thoughts are the same thoughts we had yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, can you
So wild.
imagine? It is, and it's
And
scary.
we do that on our own without connecting to any outside energies. So
Mm-hmm.
imagine when you have kids faced with generational
Oh.
trauma, poverty, chaos, abuse, all
Mm-hmm.
the things. There is so much buildup
Yeah,
that
and the
is there.
epigenetics.
Oh my gosh, I can always tell whenever I'm in a class, people that can't close their eyes. I'm like, you're invited to
Mm-hmm.
close your eyes, and there's mostly I can scan the room,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone has their eyes closed, and then there's one person, and they're just kind of like eyes wide open. There's always one person
Trauma.
who cannot settle
Wow.
down, and even when their eyes are closed, you can see them flickering,
Oh, yeah.
and that is just our mind. That is not our physical eyes. That
Yeah.
is our mind,
Yes.
and That's why, meditation, being able to teach meditation to kids at a young age, at least just introducing the idea of
That's
what it
my
is.
dream. You're going to be part of that
Yeah, what
ranch.
is it?
My
Oh, your ranch.
ranch.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
That was our first conversation when we
Yes.
met for coffee
Yes.
years
And this
ago.
morning I was staring at my vision board when she called me. When she texted me, I was like,
Aw.
"Oh, it's happening."
It is happening.
I
Absolutely.
know,
It
but
is.
sometimes things feel so far away, but
Yes.
you just keep plugging
Yes,
along.
it is. This is all part of your journey to there.
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe it.
Oh yeah, for
Well,
sure.
it's like it's really funny because you do things because you feel led, right?
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden you see how like they're just fitting into the puzzle pieces are fitting into place, and it's like, wow. So what do you see? Like you're doing the new events now.
Hmm.
What got you in thinking that? I love it. I started a sugar scrub now just because you did that. So I'm like, I need to sell something. I got to make it
Oh.
organic, and yeah,
Oh,
so I'm making
nice. Oh, this Friday.
yeah.
Yeah, it's actually our 2-year anniversary of the local wellness foundation. I can't believe it's only been 2 years. I feel like it's been with
Well,
us forever. Like
because
it's
you've
been
been
with me.
doing a lot of things.
Yes,
You just didn't have the foundation. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So, making it official was the best decision I
Oh
ever
yeah.
made.
Well, yeah.
And
Now you're getting grants. It's
and
always the best too to help
oh,
along.
oh my gosh.
It's,
I was doing it out of my own pocket.
I know.
I was
That's what
doing
everybody
it,
does, girl.
yeah, out of my own pocket. My husband's like, "What are you doing? Like, we don't have money like that. You got to slow down. Like, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I think I'm going to make this a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Maybe that makes more sense."
Yes.
And so, thank God I did. But yes, the local wellness foundation has continued to do so many great things. But one of the things that I've been noticing is just building the network
Mm-hmm.
of people that have that same interest that are
Yeah.
out in the world, nonprofits like yourself, being a resource and a
Mm-hmm.
community connection
Yeah.
for people to lean on. I know that you also have your support group. That's
Mm-hmm.
another amazing thing. So I want to bring in those people on a more regular basis. So doing these events like a couple times a year is in a bigger capacity, like Take Action
Yeah.
LA or the Work and Workshop that I do a couple times a year,
Mm-hmm.
or the workshops that I do monthly in the classes. It's not enough. It's not enough.
Yeah.
Like we need to continue to build our network,
Yes.
people that are in the mental health space, wellness space with services,
Well, then you have
products.
legs, right? Then you have more people hitting more areas and more people
Exactly.
hitting more people when they leave the community. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And we all need to be there to support each other
Mm-hmm.
because we start to not only build our network, but people start to live in their wellness,
Yes.
live in their mental health.
Yes.
They start to bring in and use more products, use more services, become friends with people that are in
Mm-hmm.
the same circles,
And finding support.
and finding support is
Yeah,
such a
which is
big
the
deal.
number one, especially for nonprofits.
Hmm.
I mean, I say it all the time, but I don't think anybody really understands how lonely it can feel. I mean, even my dad, I felt so bad. But I got upset at him yesterday because
Yeah.
he's like, well, you don't need to wake up that early tomorrow. And I was like, what are you talking? I work hard. Like, I don't go into an office, but I work hard, probably harder than most. I mean, it may seem tedious, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all for, literally, I got labels for my jars they were too big. I'm cutting all the little label, but
Yeah.
it's got to be done, and
Yeah.
nobody's gonna do it but me.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's
Hey,
like
if you have a vision, you got to make it.
if you
No
have
one's no one's gonna fulfill your vision but you,
exactly,
right?
yeah, and I
Yeah,
already said it. Now I have to do it because I have to fulfill that for myself because I
exactly.
said I was gonna
I
do
mean,
it.
I could have shared with you the local wellness foundation idea so many years ago, and you could have said, "That's amazing. I want to be a part of it," but I'm the one that has to make it happen,
Yeah.
and
So
it's
what
still
made
like
you
that.
finally like what was the first thing you did for the foundation, and then what was the thing that triggered like I need a foundation. Like this is what I need to do for a living.
Well, Heart and Soul Yoga was born, about 3.5 years into it. I realized that not just the weekly classes that I was
Mhm.
doing, but the workshops and then the events that I started to do, which was the Whittier Walk for Wellness,
Mhm.
meeting monthly to meet, not just to walk, but to talk about mental health and wellness check ins with
Yes.
people. So, inviting people to walk for your mental health. There were people that were coming from lots of different areas, not just Whittier. And when they would get to that walk and we would do our mental health check in, I mean, people just broke down. They just
Mm.
broke down. They were like, they needed to express. And after
Oh,
that walk and getting your
yeah.
body moving and getting your mind going, and then starting to build little connections within the walking group,
Mhm.
they felt more comfortable. And we were all there with the same, mission in
Yeah.
front of us, sort of, same idea. And so people just started to open up. We started to open up, and get to know each other, and it became a very safe space in that walk. So I'm like,
Beautiful.
because I needed something that wasn't just for our yoga people.
Yes.
There's people that don't want to necessarily get on their mat,
Yeah. Or
but
have
being
bad wrists
or
or just,
yeah, just
mhm.
anything like that, or just not comfortable or confident doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to reach out to those people. So let's do the walking. The walking, Whittier Walk for Wellness was born, almost 5 years ago, and Awaken the Divine Feminine. It was tapping
Mm.
into women and empowering women through inviting leaders in different communities to share their stories of triumph, but
Yes.
not just triumph, of release and finding themselves through
Hmm.
their pain into their purpose,
Oh,
into
what this was born
yeah,
through, pretty much.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You are one of those women. So, women that come to hear those stories, to be interactive,
Mm.
but to talk about mental health journeys and to support each other in our journeys by looking and hearing, seeing.
Yeah, you're not alone.
You are not
Healing is
alone.
possible.
Exactly. And the
And
and
flourishing after healing, not just healing, right? You want to
yes.
heal and you want to flourish because there's so much more to life than just being comfortable.
Yeah. And I don't think there is an after healing. I think that healing is continuous.
Absolutely.
I think it is continuous.
Because the
And
more we learn, the more we grow, and then the more we heal.
exactly.
Yeah.
And how many times have you heard, especially women? I think women are so hard on themselves. God, I thought I was done with that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought I had healed from that. I thought I was over him or
Yeah.
her or that
And then a
thing.
trigger.
And then a trigger, and there's more work to be done. And
Yeah.
that's okay. I
But
think
you know what's beautiful
what?
is that when you're healed enough to recognize the trigger.
Oh, yeah. It's huge.
Yeah.
That awareness is huge. That's a big growing
Yep.
spurt right there for people that are on healing
Hmm.
journeys. But I think that's something really simple, but also very grand to recognize. And that's something that I've recognized through these events and connecting to other, not just leaders,
Yeah.
but just other people, individuals, and women in these spaces that also are not afraid to share their story and not afraid to be vulnerable and sharing what their life experience has been.
You know, I like that you said that right now, not necessarily leaders, because we need people to know, right? You don't have to. I wasn't this great realtor and now I'm going to share my story. You know, it's like people feel like, who's going to want to listen to me? I haven't done anything. You know what? Healing is
Mm.
doing something. Healing and growing and showing somebody else the ropes. That is huge. To me, that's better than being that top realtor or that top CEO or that, because look at your top CEO, the astrologer. He needed some healing, and now his shit's all over the place.
I,
You know.
I'm sorry. I could go down a whole conversation about that. About
Yes.
it is so hilarious. People do not wait. People are so clever nowadays
Oh my
with their
gosh.
memes, and I can't stop
Yes.
looking. It's
Well,
just
you know
so
what? I
hilarious.
sometimes I wonder if it was like the government just trying to get us to forget about Epstein, because I
Oh,
mean that guy
I
ended
haven't.
up.
Did you forget?
No,
Because
I
I
did
didn't
not.
forget.
I'm saying, but they're working really hard.
Yeah,
But I mean, this guy took over the news.
I know he
This,
did.
but honestly, Brandy, I think it's because we've seen so many people get away with shit, and this guy got caught, and
Yeah.
so everybody was just dying for somebody to get punished and caught for like doing wrong right
Oh, I
now.
think you have a very good point there.
Yeah.
I
So
think it
it
was
just
very satisfying for people, right?
Yes, it just couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah.
Diddy's just getting off, Epstein, no file, and then this guy gets caught
Yeah,
cheating.
punish someone, right?
Yes, punish someone. I mean,
Someone
he
needs
was
to.
caught red-handed. Like there's,
Someone,
and he's
some,
mad at us.
I know. I'm sure he's about to sue somebody or do
Yeah.
something. So he's going to sue someone for
Oh, good
getting
luck.
caught cheating.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I even forgot what I was talking about because now I'm just thinking about all the
I
memes
know.
I've done.
I know. I know. They even had him at a like one of those Phillies games,
Oh
the two
my
little
God.
mascots.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, I do like that point though, going back to the leaders, because there's an important point there. I've heard other people, some people, even my own family,
Mhm.
talk about and reflect on the things that I've accomplished or the things that I'm focused on in these last few years. And they're like, because I'm figuring out my
Mhm.
story, right? It is breaking cycles. It is my journey through yoga. It is my journey through my own postpartum and watching, people, my closest loved ones, be challenged in their relationships through lack of awareness of their own mental health struggle
Mhm.
and admitting where they are with that, getting the
Mhm.
help that they so need, right? And other
Mhm.
people have to sort of pay the price or get hurt along
Yes.
their journey, right? So have figured out, I am figuring out, I should
Mhm.
say, what my story is and what I'm here to share with people.
Mhm.
There's not a lot that I hold back, but
It
there
does,
still is,
and it does change.
and it changes. But you don't have to start a nonprofit. You don't have to be a CEO of a organization or of a business. You don't have to be a business owner.
You just
Ev-
have to be willing to share.
Everyone has their story.
Yes.
And once you figure it out, I think sharing it doesn't have to be getting on Instagram and posting it for everyone to see. It can be within your own family.
Mhm.
It could be your kids. It
Mhm.
can be your close
I
friends.
think it has to be your kids.
Oh,
I mean,
100,
it
yes,
has to be your
100%.
kids. As soon as you're healed, you got to teach your kids, let them know you see where you went wrong, and
Mhm.
yeah, so they can start their healing journey.
Exactly. And I think that's number one, right? Is making sure that you are, if you do have kids, nieces or nephews, or just people in your family, that you can rise above and you can be accountable and vulnerable
Mhm.
and share your story of what it is you are doing to change things, right?
Mhm.
To bring the awareness. Not only do I have this awareness, okay, generational trauma, my mom, my grandmother, my great grandmother, that's great. But if I stop there, that's not a healing journey. Now I want to take action.
Mhm.
What action steps can Brandy take to change that? Well, I want to bring truth to that. I want to tell a story. I want to forgive.
Mhm.
I want to show people, through my vulnerability and the work that I'm doing on myself,
Yeah.
that healing is possible.
That's my thing with Christianity. And I love my God. I'm all
Hmm.
about Jesus, is
Hmm.
the way I say it. But I don't go around saying it all the time, right?
Hmm.
Because, like you said, even healing and God, I want them to see it in me. I
Yeah.
don't really want to have to
Tell
tell them.
them.
I
Hmm.
because you could tell them all day long, but until they see it in action, they're just words.
Yeah.
Because how many times do we hear people say shit in all our life? Sometimes for some people, right? They've been lied to.
Oh, yeah.
So having words are cheap,
Yeah,
you know.
I agree. That reminds me of the beginning of my healing journey after discovering that I had postpartum depression really bad. I went at it. I committed myself to my practice, to
Mm.
therapy, to just everything that we're seeing that I'm doing today. It started over 9 years ago, over 8 years ago. So my son's going to be 9, and it happened right when he was about 6, 7 months old.
Mm-hmm.
And I started my healing journey, and I went hard for myself to find myself. I fell in love with myself.
Yes.
I fell in love with my journey and just started all of it. And I remember months and months down the road, I didn't invite my husband to come with me on my journey. I was like, this is my journey.
Yeah.
I didn't invite my sisters or my best friend or anyone. It was a very lonely road, but I started to get somewhere. Joy, contentment, happiness, wholeness,
Well, and you kind of
healing.
get very protective of it,
I was very
huh?
quiet in it. I
Yeah.
was in just and realizing this light probably that was coming,
Mm.
from, I don't know,
Somewhere.
from
Yeah.
somewhere, from my energy system. And my husband one day says to me out of the blue, he said, I wanna do whatever you're doing because you look so happy. Like whatever you're doing, like keep doing it because it's working for you. I can see it. I
Wow.
can tell. Yeah, I can't remember
Which
verbatim,
is
but it
even
was
nice to hear, right? Because you're sometimes not sure. Like you feel it, but you're not sure,
right. And you know what? I realized at that point I wasn't doing it for anyone except for myself. Well, my baby, my
Yeah.
son, because I was now a mom. And yeah, I realized, oh, I'm doing this for all the right reasons, and I could feel it. I was aligned with it finally. And another sort of sad little moment was I also realized all the things that I had done in the past, with graduating college and relationships, I don't know, going on a freaking diet, like all
Yeah.
of it. I'm like, I didn't do any of that shit for myself. I did it for other people.
Oh.
And I realized in that moment with my husband, thank God he did speak, from his
Mm-hmm.
heart and share that with me. I realized this is the first time ever that I'm doing something for myself. And it
And
felt so good. I felt
oh.
so whole. And, I started my yoga journey of I'm going to get certified. I'm going to do this or that. I was pregnant. I was pregnant with my daughter. I had her, and then I started my certification program. I was 215 pounds when I started. I had never been that weight ever in my life. And I'm like, you know what? fuck it. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to
Good
share
for
it with
you.
the world, and I'm going to let people know they're probably going to see my body change through this, and I'll probably lose weight and do all that, but I'm not doing it for that.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for managing my stress, in my emotional health. I am doing it for my nervous system. I am doing it for my hormones. I am doing it for the inner work, the inner peace, and the self love. I am doing it for the inner stuff.
All the right reasons.
And through that and sharing it through that, starting right where I was, I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm not going to wait till I lose a bunch of weight. I'm not going to wait
Yeah.
until X, Y, or Z. I'm not waiting.
I love that. And most leaders I think are like that. They just do it. You can't wait for the perfect time. The perfect time is never going to come.
Never. It's never
And
going to
and
come.
you learn more while doing anyways. I mean,
Yeah,
you might as well start doing it because you're going to figure it out as you go
exactly.
because you'll never figure it out if you don't do it. So
Exactly.
you're like waiting for what?
Exactly. And I want to say, oh, I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, but not really, because I don't believe any of it.
No.
There's no mistakes. It's
No.
just like I'm just moving through.
Even me, I started a book club. I think I told you that.
Hmm.
And it was like I'm going to do this and then I started it and then I got into it and I'm like, okay, I don't have the time for this. It was more than I could handle right now.
Yeah.
It's more homework if I want to do it right and really bring value.
Hmm.
And I don't want to do it, half ass. So I just figured I barely started. They probably won't even miss me. So I'm just going to delete everything about the book club and then move on. It's
Hmm.
like, I'll come back when I'm ready.
Right.
And there's no guilt. There's no shame. It's just like,
No.
look, I tried it. I know now what it entails.
Hmm.
So next time I'll be more prepared and I'll make sure I have more time to really, give it the time that it needs.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if you never do it, then you're just never going to know what it's like.
You're never gonna
And now I
know.
could go live on TikTok and I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing on TikTok. So you're one step ahead on that
I
with
don't know what I'm
me.
going to do with that information, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so hilarious.
So, what would you say yoga's brought you the most? Like, just, I mean, peace and clarity. And what could somebody start with? What would you recommend they start with? Because there's so many different types of yoga.
Um, yeah, there are so many different types. I think that finding a community that aligns and that feels good with you is very important.
Hmm.
I know that there's a lot of yoga spaces that say "come as you are" and just yoga for all. We're very diverse and all these things, but you go into the yoga space and it's not really like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like everyone belongs here. So I think that the thing that I invite people to at Heart and Soul Yoga and through the local Wellness Foundation events is truly
Yeah.
living to that mission. Come as you are. And so I think that building community and community connections, and finding your comfort and
Hmm.
in like an energy of like love and being very forgiving towards yourself and people that just accept you exactly how you are is
Yeah.
so important. I think it starts with finding the right community.
Take Action LA is very much like that. I mean, I love the ladies that you have going around blessing people. I mean,
I
they
love
just
that.
create that whole energy
Oh
just
my gosh,
everywhere.
amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
And I met
it's
people that
cultural.
went by themselves, like just to check it out. So for the
Hmm.
first time, brave, and I
Yeah,
love that. And
yeah.
so, it's really nice meeting those people and really being able to make them feel even more comfortable, like to come
Mm.
back and make a new friend. Like I made a couple new friends,
Oh,
which was
thank you for sharing
yeah,
that. That's beautiful.
it is.
I see. Nothing makes me happier than to walk into the studio and obviously we're not in my house, an extension
Yeah.
of my home anymore. We're in uptown Whittier, and to walk into the studio and to see the words that are right in front of you,
Yes.
never alone but in community, and then I see the people that are connecting to each other, because starting organically literally from my backyard into
Mhm.
like what it's grown into now, a lot of that energetic connection to
Yeah.
building relationships is all like me. It's all Brandy right in the
Yes.
beginning.
Yes.
And so now that we've grown a little bit more, I see that people aren't just relying on me, they're relying on each other. They're
Yes.
relying on the other teachers that are there, and it helps us to like grow and
Mm.
blossom. I literally could cry right now.
Yeah.
Just like when I see them like after class, they're getting their stuff together and they're going to have coffee and tea and brunch. They are like, I see their pictures on Instagram of hanging out on the weekends,
Yeah.
supporting each other, coming to workshops together. And that was the whole reason. And what I really saw, one of the big things that I saw is people finding each other through
Yeah.
this. because it is like we talked about the journey of not just yoga but just finding yourself through these healing
Mhm.
modalities can be very lonely. And I was there and I was like, you know what? I choose this path and I would choose it over and over and over again. It's lonely, but I'm going to find my people.
Yeah.
They're going to find me. And guess
Yes.
what? It happened.
I know.
It
It's a beautiful
happened.
thing. And when you
And
find your
you're
people,
one of
oh,
those
I
people.
know you're one of them too,
Yes.
girl.
Yeah.
It's so important and it is so beautiful because you're like-minded and
Yeah.
it's not, I did notice in like the foundation space, there was some people with a little competitive, a little competition, but
Who are they? Tell me the
I
names so I can say.
and it could turn you off, but then you find the people that are sincere about building a community and wanting
Mm.
everybody to win,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And you do build that. You've built that community.
Thank
So
you.
I think when people meet people like that, even like myself, I am the first one to connect. Hey, if I think you'll do better with this person and you guys can mesh and do something together. And so it's nice when you meet others like that because then you
Yeah.
can really grow and you can really grow the community and the wellness space. And
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you're really out for the same thing, then there should be no competition at all.
Right. Yeah. And I think that having a very clear mission, like we've been talking since the beginning of this conversation about language, right?
Hmm.
And making sense of things, like being able to create the message behind what I'm doing has been a lot of work. And I
Yes.
realize that being a one man show since day one, it's taken me, it was like a process and a slow progress forward, flowing forward, continuing to study, self study,
Hmm.
self realization, holding space to understand other humans that I was working with
Yeah.
of all diverse levels, cancer patients, people affected and families affected by suicide,
Hmm.
disabled, senior citizen, memory care patients,
Mm.
LGBTQ
Hmm.
community. So all through the years, I've been diving into all of these
Hmm.
little like networks and pockets of people to fully understand what it was that I was doing. So, Pan 2, these years later, I'm like, oh my gosh, I finally understand what I'm doing.
Ugh, I
I am
love that you said
healing.
that, Brandy.
I'm healing through community.
Mm.
I'm not doing it alone, but in community. I'm like, oh my gosh, the website. Got to do this on the website. And so that's where the mission came in. And that's when the Local Wellness Foundation was truly born, was I was able
Mm.
to like put that together.
I don't think people understand that either. Getting a divorce, right? Right before COVID, starting real estate, healing, like figuring out you change.
Yeah.
You change. If you're growing and you're healing and you're changing.
Yeah.
And
And you're
s-
thinking about all kinds of different things.
yes,
Yeah.
so many different things. And I know people are watching, right? Because I'm very out there and I would worry and I started feeling like, oh my God, they're gonna think like, what is she doing now? And then all of a sudden I just said, oh, who gives a shit what they think? This is
Yeah.
my freaking journey. This is
Yeah.
my life. This is my future.
Hmm.
I'm the one who's gonna have to live with myself. And I'm already 55. Like I don't have time to screw around. I don't have time to go sit at some dead end job and, hope life works out, no,
Toot,
like,
toot, toot,
yeah,
like a
no,
robot.
yes,
Yeah.
no, like I've got way too much on my mind, too many things I want to do to go sit behind a desk and be a robot. Like
Hmm.
my mind's just way too active for that and I have too
Hmm.
many dreams for that.
Right.
And I don't want my dream to end up in the cemetery with me.
Right.
I want it
But
to live on after me.
dreams of many people end up in the cemetery because the chaos in their mind,
Yes.
because of generational trauma, because
Yes.
of not being able to sit with yourself
No.
to finally get to the point where you're like, there's the message, there's the mission,
Yeah.
there's the so I
Yes, and being brave enough to change course and to follow your soul's path, your
yes.
heart's calling.
Or if something doesn't work out, you realize that's not supposed to work out. Pivot, keep moving, keep
You
flowing.
have to shift,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people do. They do. They get. Kind of feel sad sometimes when I speak to some people, and they're just like, "But this is all I know." But yeah, but you can learn something else. Like we live in
Yeah.
a world of possibility. I
Yeah.
mean, there's so many things we can learn online, and
Hmm.
you can meet people that can take a class, go to groups, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's really how it starts, going to group events and going to classes and
Yeah.
just being brave enough to take that one step in that one class
Oh
and
yeah.
just crack the door.
Yeah, and it's really about kind of cracking yourself open,
Mhm.
And like I said earlier about like I'm not alone in this anymore.
Mhm.
I through the local wellness foundation, I've been able to bring in other leaders, doctors, psychologists, therapists,
Yeah.
social workers, etc., to endorse the work that I'm doing, all the holistic practices,
Mhm.
right? Because they are there for lots of different things: sadness, depression,
Yes.
anxiety, just so the list goes on and
Yeah.
on. And those professionals are there to help me build more opportunities for people to come into this space and to feel comfortable, safe, and taken care of. So we're not just saying, let it out, and then
Yeah.
somebody
Oh,
has an
yeah.
emotional release and you're like, oh, here's a handshake and a hug.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah.
So
Now that you're cracked wide open, you have fun
yeah,
dealing with all the.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I
No.
have these, high level, and forget about being high leveled. Okay. I kind of take that back, but high leveled, great.
Yeah.
You have your degree, you have a PhD, wonderful. But these
High
people,
leveled, heart centered.
yes, heart centered, compassionate professionals that understand the mission and what
Mhm.
we're doing. So, not only are we inviting community people in to this safe place where they can be amongst the community all for the same reason,
Mhm.
but you're also, and we are also building leadership in this
Yeah.
space with the same mission. And
Yes.
so, I thank God for my meditation, for the understanding of the anatomy and the energetic anatomy to be able to sync
Mhm.
together what I've been doing and create space and time for myself.
Yeah.
That's, I wrote my book. It comes out, I think, I'm hoping, keep my
Yeah.
fingers crossed,
Yes.
in November. I'm looking at
What's the
you.
name of the
Well, don't
book?
you know?
I know.
You know the answer. That is to be announced.
Okay.
It's a work in progress. It's
Okay.
like the last part of this.
Well,
And
it kind of is, I think,
yeah,
usually, because it's all the words
yeah,
and the insight,
I
and
thought I knew. And then I'm like, nope, that's not it. It's coming to me.
it'll
So
come to you
it,
just like the foundation name.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, yes, and the book is all about not just a singular story
Mhm.
of one thing. It is the many different stories that led me back to myself and opened up a pathway to starting this community. But it's deep personal stories and
Beautiful.
poetry that sort of explains the not yamas and niyamas of yoga, which are the ethical code of conduct of yoga, which is
Okay.
how I fell in love with yoga. And so it sort of is not just, like I said, not just one story, but many different stories.
So if you had to explain yoga, let's say we have a listener who's never even done yoga, they maybe have heard of it, but they have no idea what it is. How
Mm.
would you explain it?
Oh, it is a practice of self realization, period. It will lead you back to yourself. Forget about the movement, what we call in yoga and Sanskrit is asana, pranayama, breath
Mhm.
work. Yes, it is all of those things and more.
Mhm.
But whatever you tap into, whether it's the meditation or the breath work or the movement, or if you're one of those people that's doing inversions, all day and standing on your head, and that's
Mhm.
fine. But yoga is community. Yoga
Mhm.
is meditation. Yoga is breathing, being intentional. It is forgiveness. It is getting up in the morning and being grateful. All of those things are yoga. But how can we realize those
Mhm.
things? Self realization, self healing. And we can do those by tapping into so many different arms of yoga
Mhm.
because yoga isn't just movement. And so it is that deep inner work
Yeah.
of coming back to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, because you do sit a lot in silence and a lot with the movement, the
Yeah.
breath,
And a lot of
the
people can't do that.
yeah.
It's the hardest part.
It's really funny because I have a hard time doing it.
Yeah. It's not easy. And
It's like I just don't have the patience for it.
yeah.
I
And
feel like I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? I gotta
yeah.
do something. But I'm a dancer, right? We all release in a different way.
Hmm.
I sing out loud.
But I will say, when some people are like, oh, meditation's not for me,
Yeah.
I will
Well, I
highly.
meditate. I don't do yoga. Yeah.
Well, I highly disagree with people. I feel like the people that say that it's not for them or it's really hard for
Yes.
them, that is the person that needs it the most. That is
Yes.
my personal, very strong opinion.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, because like you said, if you can't sit in silence, I sit in silence a lot. I mean, actually, I drive with no radio most of the
That's
time.
good. Yeah.
I just kind of, I'm always in my head. When
Right.
I turn on the radio, it's because I want to get out of my head. But I
Right.
like being in there.
Yeah.
I like being in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in there.
There's
There's
a
the,
lot. There's a lot of stuff in there. Sometimes you're like, what's that doing in there?
yeah.
What is that person doing right there? But I could honestly say that all the things that have transpired over the last few years in my own healing journey with the local wellness foundation, Heart and Soul, I owe a big, thank you to my meditation. And
Mm,
that's really what has brought me back to
yeah.
myself and creating the time to do it.
Oh, well, that's, I think, when you get the best downloads.
It is. But many times I've been there, Anita, and I'm like this, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go. I have stuff to do.
Oh, God.
Oh, I gotta, my phone. Who called me? Whatever. It's like, no, sit your ass back
Yeah.
down,
Well,
girl.
I have a funny story because I wasn't even like I have to do, but I was like, okay, Lord, well, talk to me. Okay, I'm waiting. Say something. I'm all, I haven't heard from you yet. And then I heard, well, shut up so I could talk. I was like,
Yeah.
okay. And then I did. I got it down, but it was like, well, shut up. You even catch yourself. Like, okay, do.
Yeah.
And it's not
Wait
always
for
going
it.
to come, right? It can come later after the meditation. I
Hmm.
think people think that, okay, it's not working because you didn't get a clear answer. And you do.
It takes
Sometimes
practice.
yeah. And then you'll get up and you'll go about your day and then boom, this idea will hit and you'll just, oh my gosh. And then
Yeah.
take action, right?
Yes.
Take action. So, what would you say? We're running out of time, but you have a book coming out in November, so I want to highlight that.
Yes.
And
So
then the
exciting.
events that you also have coming up at the studio.
Yes.
What dates are those?
Well, we have something coming up this
This,
week,
yeah,
and but it's going to be happening all throughout the summer.
good.
So we are inviting people to be a part of a free event, the local wellness network market. So we're building our network of people with vendors and
Mm-hmm.
nonprofits and people that have services or products all within wellness and health and mental health.
Yeah.
And so you guys can come. Some of the vendors that'll be there, one heart at a time.
Yes. With my
So,
new sugar scrub.
oh, nice. That's girl. Oh,
Yes.
that's
Even
perfect.
packaged in BPA. Yes.
Oh, I
Like
love
it's all
that.
organic.
I love that. We have a healthy food truck that's going to be there doing juices and papusas. I don't know how healthy they are,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
Oh, they're
They're
good,
so
girl. Who
good.
cares?
Yeah, with the
Like, who
juice.
cares?
With the juice, we're fine. Massage therapists, acupressurists, chiropractors.
Awesome.
There's so many different people that will be there. So, but we really want to be there in
Yeah.
celebration of each other to help support each other. And of
Yes.
course, our monthly workshops that happen every month. This year, we're doing our grief workshop for the holidays, which
Okay.
are really, really
So
popular and
important.
so important.
Yeah.
That is in November and December. And we are having our first menopause workshop starting in August and
Oh, okay.
August and September with one of our
They're talking about that a
doctors.
lot more.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll
I've
be pairing up some healing modalities through yoga, acupressure, and meeting with one of our doctors to talk about all of the things, all the emotional things that come with it,
Yeah.
and vitamins, a lot of different suggestions from her.
Maca root
Um,
is so good.
yes, suicide prevention in September, and lots going on with a lot of the agencies that I work with. So people just got to follow, and we have a lot going on every
And they
month.
follow how? Right there at
Yes,
the local
Instagram
wellness.
yes, Heart and Soul Yoga and Wellness, and also you can look at the local wellness foundation on Instagram. Yes.
All right. Well, you heard it first. Brandy Rametta. If you guys, her book is coming out in November.
Yes.
So look out for that,
Thank you.
and the name will follow. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow for more great stories.
So exciting.
I appreciate you, Brandy.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
coming.
It's been so fun. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course.
So grateful.
Anytime. Come back.
All right. Tomorrow with papusas.
With papusas and the juice. Don't forget the juice. Bye, guys.
Everyone.